The Atlanta Falcons are officially playing with fire, and the entire NFL is holding its breath to see who gets burned first. We are standing on the edge of a total franchise transformation, but the latest words from the facility suggest a level of chaos that most fans aren't ready to handle yet. If you think you know who the starting quarterback is, or how this offense is going to look come September, you are dead wrong. There is a massive power struggle brewing in the film room, and the ripples are going to change everything we know about the 2026 Dirty Birds. This isn't just a rebuild, it's a high-stakes gamble with the future of the city on the line, and the clock is ticking down to a draft that will either make us champions or break the spirit of every fan in Georgia. Before we dive into the madness, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. We are bringing you the raw truth every single day, so don't miss a second of the action. The silence has finally been broken. For weeks, the front office has been playing a game of poker, keeping their cards tucked tight to their chests. But the head coach finally stepped up to the microphone, and what he let slip has sent shockwaves through the fan base. We've been aggressive in free agency, sure, but the real story isn't who we signed, it's the hierarchy being established behind closed doors. There are 3 massive pillars to this update that will dictate whether we're hoisting a trophy or looking for a new coaching staff in 2 years. But before we get to the quarterback nightmare, we have to talk about the men in the trenches, because a secret weapon has just been confirmed. There is a name you need to memorize right now, Bill Callahan. While casual fans are arguing over jersey numbers and highlight reels, the real football junkies know that games are won in the dirt. The word coming out of the building is that Callahan isn't just a coach. He is being hailed as the absolute best defensive line mind to ever whistle on a practice field. This is a massive statement. When a head coach calls someone the greatest they've ever worked with, it's not just polite praise, it's a warning to every defensive line in the NFC South. We are talking about a guy whose reputation was unfairly dragged through the mud because of some bad situations in places like Cleveland or Tennessee. But the Falcons are betting the house that he is the missing ingredient. The vision for the 2026 season is becoming crystal clear, and it is going to be a physical, punishing nightmare for our opponents. The plan is to run a zone-blocking scheme that doesn't just find gaps, it creates them with pure, unadulterated violence. The goal is to be more physically imposing than this team has been in a decade. We aren't looking to dance around defenders anymore. We are looking to run through their faces. But there is a massive if attached to this plan, and it involves a player who has been a ghost for months. Kaleb McGary is the giant question mark hanging over this offensive line. We all remember the disaster in the preseason when he tore his ACL, but the updates we are getting now are far more concerning than anyone expected. This wasn't just a standard injury, this was a total structural collapse. The fact that there are still doubts about whether he will even be ready for training camp tells you everything you need to know about the severity of that tear. If he isn't back, the plan for total dominance in the trenches takes a massive hit. We saw Elijah Wilkinson try to fill those shoes last year, and let's be real, it was a disaster. He was a turnstile, and honestly, the way he exited the building left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. Good riddance to Arizona. But here is the real question for you guys. Do you think a legendary coach like Callahan can turn a mediocre line into a top 5 unit even if McGary isn't 100%? Or are we setting ourselves up for another year of watching our quarterback run for his life? The stakes couldn't be higher because this team is going all in on the run. If the line holds, we are looking at a historic season for Bijan Robinson. I'm calling it right now, 2,000 yards. People will say that's insane, but look at the tape. Last year, Bijan was being used as a wide receiver half the time. He had nearly 80 catches. Imagine if he actually gets to be a pure, downhill bell cow back behind a Callahan-led wall of muscle. We are talking about a statistical explosion that could break the league. But wait until you hear how the quarterback situation might actually sabotage that entire dream. Everything we thought we knew about the quarterback room is a lie. The elephant in the room is Michael Penix, and the situation is getting weirder by the hour. Is he the future? Is he a trade chip? The team is being incredibly secretive about his health, and it's starting to feel like a cover-up. They tell us they won't rush him, they tell us he's rehabbing every day, but the lack of a clear timeline for Week 1 is deafening. If he's the guy, why the mystery? The truth is, there is a shadow looming over Penix, and his name is Tua. Last year, both of these guys had seasons they'd rather forget for very different reasons. Penix was struggling within a scheme that didn't let him use his greatest weapon, the deep ball. Meanwhile, Tua was a precision machine who turned into a turnover factory at the worst possible moments, all while dealing with the terrifying reality of his concussion history. It's a pick your poison scenario, but the coaching staff's body language is telling a very specific story. The head coach is glowing when he talks about Tua. It's almost like a bromance is forming in the facility. They are bonding over the chip on the shoulder mentality. Two guys who have been told they weren't good enough, looking to prove the world wrong. The coach literally said there's something special about the fire you get when you've been fired or cast aside. Right now, if I'm a betting man, Tua has the slight edge. It feels like the plan is to start Tua in Week 1, give him a month to prove he's changed, and keep Penix in the wings. But here is the spicy part: what if Penix isn't the long-term answer? If Tua comes out and lights the world on fire, or if Penix can't get his health right, don't be shocked if you see Michael Penix on the trade block by the deadline. I know, half of you are screaming at your screens right now saying that's impossible. But remember, everyone said we'd never bring in Tua in the first place. In this new era of Falcons football, nothing is off the table. The loyalty is to winning, not to draft picks. Comment challenge: who is to blame if this quarterback situation blows up in our faces? Is it the front office for the two-headed monster approach, or the players for not seizing the job? Drop a name in the comments right now. As if the quarterback drama wasn't enough, the wide receiver room is currently a construction zone. We've made some moves, sure. Bringing in Jan Dodson was a solid depth move, but let's call it what it is: he's a WR3. He's got the speed, he's got the deep ball tracking, but he is not the Robin to Drake London's Batman. We still have a massive hole at the WR2 spot, and the draft is the only way to fix it. Since we don't have a first-round pick, the pressure on day 2 is going to be immense. The names floating around are exciting, but risky. You have Jeremy Bernard and Antonio Williams, but the guy everyone is buzzing about is Chris Brazzell. He is a freak of nature, nearly 6 feet 5 inches, 200 pounds, with the kind of vertical speed that makes defensive backs look like they're running in sand. He is the mirror image of Drake London but with more raw explosive power. He averaged over 16 yards a catch and almost never drops the ball. If the Falcons can snag him at pick 48, this offense becomes a nightmare to defend. Imagine trying to cover London on one side and Brazzell on the other, all while Bijan is lurking in the backfield. It's almost unfair. But there's a catch. Brazzell's route tree is about as thin as a piece of paper right now. He's a go up and get it guy, not a technical wizard. If we draft him, we are betting on raw talent over polished production. Is that a risk worth taking when our playoff windows are slamming shut? The next few days are going to be the most important in the history of this franchise. We have new uniforms dropping in 3 days, a fresh look for a fresh start. But jerseys don't win games, tough decisions do. We are looking at a team that wants to run the ball down your throat, a quarterback room that is one bad game away from a civil war, and a wide receiver group that is one piece away from being elite. Who is your number 1 wide receiver target for the Falcons in this draft? Is it the size of Brazzell, or do you want a more polished playmaker? The clock is ticking, the tension is rising, and the dirty birds are ready to fly, or crash and burn in spectacular fashion. Make sure you stay tuned, because when those new uniforms hit and the draft clock starts, we will be here to break down every single second of the madness. The era of being just okay is over. It's time to rise up, or get out of the way. Stay cool, stay loud, and we'll see you at the kickoff.